Joining us today is Dr. Dennis Martin, our Extension Turf Specialist. And Dennis, welcome back to Oklahoma Gardening.
Thank you, Steve.
Dennis, you and I know there's been a lot of advertisements and information coming out now on mulching mowers. We've got one here in front of us. Tell us what constitutes a mulching mower.
Well, Steve, the feature that all mulching mowers have in common is that they do not discharge clippings from the side or the back of the mower. They discharge their clippings through the bottom of the deck. Let's take a look at some of the other features that we can see underneath the deck of a mulching mower. Now, before we ever flip a mower over, we always want to be certain of two things. One, that we disconnect the spark plug so that the engine can't fire. And two, we want to make certain that there's not a tremendous amount of gasoline in the tank that would spill out onto the lawn.
All right. Those are good safety features for everybody to remember, Dennis.
Now, there are various features of different mulching mowers. Some mulching mowers will have a very deep deck, which allows for a vacuum to pull the clippings up farther into the deck and them to be cut several times before being discharged back into the grass. Other features of mulching mowers are very high wings on the blades of the mowers. And we can see an individual feature on this particular mower is these plastic mounts here, which after the clippings are cut and held into the air, they are forced back down into the grass stand.
Well, so really it depends on the brand and the type of mower that a person purchases on what features they might have that would constitute them being a mulching mower. There's also kits, isn't there, Dennis, that converts one over. Let's go over and take a look at one of those. Now on the kits, this is really a standard mower, isn't it, with a back discharge and a side discharge. What constitutes a kit that would convert one over?
Well, as we said earlier, Steve, mulching mowers do not discharge their clippings into a bag or from the side, so therefore they're going to discharge the clippings down into the ground. So we're going to block the discharge on this particular unit.
And that's what kind of device we have right here, just to block that off, right?
That's correct.
And now some of them have side discharge. There could be a kit that would block off the side as well. Is that true?
That's correct. You'll want to check with your manufacturer to see what they have designed to convert your standard mower into a mulching mower.
So really we don't need to be mixing different brands or anything like that, especially for safety features as well. Now this particular kit also came with a blade that they called a mulching blade. And Dennis, we've got a couple of those right there. Let me hold those up, and why don't you tell us the difference in some of the blades?
Okay, Steve. Certainly the features of modern blades are not as distinct as they used to be. Traditionally, mulching blades had a very, very high wing, but as you can see, the engineers have been working on developing better features to blades, and you really can't tell any difference with these modern blades. This blade here is a mulching blade. This is our standard blade here for this particular lawnmower. Basically, the only feature you can see different is the change in the dynamics of the blade here to return the clippings a little bit quicker down to the surface after they've been cut.
And again, this is just one example of a brand. There could be several different types of mulching blades, so it's really tough to give a specific recommendation or tell people what to look for because it depends on that company.
Exactly.
Well, we've talked about mulching mowers and kits and the blades. Really, it all boils down to one thing, and that's proper mowing. Why don't we go right over here and talk about that a little bit, because that's really a crucial point. And Dennis, tell us about the rule in mowing your lawn. What is the general rule, and tell us a little bit about that.
Well, Steve, we want to always observe the rule that we're not removing more than 1/3 of the above ground growth of the grass. For instance, if we're mowing a lawn at 2 inches at height to cut, and we don't want to mow the lawn, or we wish to mow the lawn before it is over 3 inches in height.
Okay, and show us here what you're talking about, because we've made a cut there.
Our mower in this instance was set at 2 inches to a 2-inch height of cut, and here you can see we mowed the turf before it exceeded 3 inches in its height.
And really that rule applies to a standard mower or even a mulching mower, because a mulching mower, if you wait too long and you get too much growth, it's still going to clutter up on us and throw back a lot of clippings. Is that right?
That's true, Steve. We still have to observe proper mowing habits.
Okay. And of course, nutrition and fertility, the watering, all those things are important. But Dennis, should we be leaving our grass clippings on the ground? Is it safe to do that when we follow this rule?
Yes, it sure is. The clippings will not be visually disturbing to us, and they can also serve as a source of nutrients to recycle to feed our turf grass stand.
Will it cause thatch problems?
No, when you properly observe the 1/3 rule of thumb, you will not have thatch formation by returning your clippings to the grass stand.
Well, Dennis, you have really helped clarify a lot of questions that I've had, as well as some of our viewers, I'm sure. And again, it just boils down to mowing that lawn at the 1/3 rule. And Dennis, we hope you'll come back with us some more and talk to us about composting and thatch and those things during the summer. Thanks again.
Thank you, Steve.
We hope you've enjoyed this classic from the Oklahoma Gardening Vault. Remember, even though these tips and techniques are timeless, there's always something new to learn in the world of gardening. By subscribing to both Oklahoma Gardening and OK Gardening Classics, you'll have access to a wealth of gardening knowledge, both classic and contemporary.